Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ramos Podcast. My name is Tochukwu of Ramos, and you might be wondering why a real estate firm is doing a podcast. And that's because we've had lots of questions over the years. People want to know what's going on in the real estate industry. And we thought, why not start a podcast to address some of these questions? And the question we will be addressing today is, who is an agent and what really is the job of an agent? And to help us get to the bottom of that and answer that question, we have no other person than Glory Chichime.
Please ignore him.
Actually, her name is Glory Chichime. And Glory is one of the top selling agents at Ramos Realty.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me on the show.
I mean, this is just formality because you hosted the previous episode. Right. But today you're here as a guest. How does that feel?
I'm on the hot seat. It's quite hot. It's getting hot in here. But
don't worry. I've not even looked at it. So, well, thank you for joining us. Are you ready?
I am ready. Bring it on.
Let's do this. Okay. So the first question I want to ask is, who is an agent?
Okay, so with regards to who an agent is in real estate, so an agent is a person that represents a client, right? So this person acts in the best interest of their client, right? This person is acting to get the best deals, get the best price on a house, negotiating and basically representing the client in whether purchase or rent or, land purchase or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much what an agent is.
The reason why I'm asking is because if you ask the regular person on the streets who an agent is, they sometimes have the notion that an agent is an unnecessary middleman.
Right.
And I feel that's because agents have shown people paper.
They have.
I'm speaking from experience. First time I wanted to rent my first apartment, I would call an agent and they'd be like, "Hey, inspection fee is 5,000."
So they're about the money.
They're all about the money, and that kind of puts people off.
Mm-hmm.
So, what sets you apart from that typical idea of who an agent is?
I think aside the money, right, it's the value we offer. It's the fact that they know we're just not trying to sell them a house, right? We're selling them an experience. We are giving after sales services like following up on the property, making sure they are settled in fine, making sure the house is in good condition and all that. So I think that's a value we offer that a ton of people, some people just, after you buy, they just disappear. You don't know where your agent is. They're just gone with the wind. But yeah, that's something we do.
Okay, so coming off of that, you've talked a lot about offering value and services to clients. But obviously, you're a middleman, so you are giving value to both the buyer and the seller.
Right.
So what value does an agent offer to the developer?
Right. So at the end of the day, you're trying to let everyone go home happy, really. So you're trying to get the best price from for the client, and then at the same time you're trying to make sure that your developer isn't selling at a loss per se, right? So it's sort of sort of the link holding everybody together, right? So at the end of the day, when we're done with this transaction, let everybody go home happy, right? And when that happens and a developer builds another house or another has another project, the developer will call you to come and sell this house because they had a great experience the last time. You sold well, everything went smoothly, and so you're pretty much providing offer to your developer, to both parties.
But you didn't start off, wanting to be a realtor.
Of course not.
You actually didn't study anything related to.
No, I didn't. I was gonna work at the bank. That's all I ever thought of doing, working at the bank, wearing suits, going to sit in the office, press laptop, and all of that stuff.
I'm telling people, go to the back.
But yeah, that pretty much was it. I studied accounting in school, so I never thought I was gonna get into this field. I never saw it coming.
So how did it happen for you?
Honestly, my brother just sent me a link to apply, and I did.
And you did? Oh, wow.
Yeah, tough interview, but hey, we made it.
I feel like nobody at Ramos Realty actually ends up.
We didn't.
Yeah, nobody planned to
Nobody
get into
did.
it. Yeah.
No.
But then everybody's doing it and they're killing it.
They are killing it. They are. Yeah.
But I'm sure that it wasn't always easy, starting
Ooh,
out
no.
young, female,
Right.
what were the challenges that you faced starting out?
First off, because I had no prior experience,
Mm-hmm.
it was a bit tough, not gonna lie. But I had a lot of help from colleagues that were there before me, and
Right.
the company helped a lot as well in terms of support. Like, okay, this is what you should do. This is how you should do this. It took a while. It took a while because I had no idea what this was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, during my interview, after the first stage, I just called my brother. I'm like, yo, I'm not doing this. Like, what? I am not doing this. But hey, eventually, when you start to enjoy what you do,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of gets easier. Kind of. I mean, there's still tough times, right? There are times where you don't close for weeks, a month, or more.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to ask a question, and I was going to ask, that there's some times
Right.
where you're doing back-to-back closings, you're selling houses every week,
Yeah.
and then there are times when you stay weeks, months, and nobody's buying a house.
Yeah, that's very
How
frustrating.
do you motivate yourself during those moments?
Hell.
Do you need to
Hell, I may need to. But I think I try to look at the bigger picture. It's not by how fast, it's by how well.
Oh.
Right? So at the end of the day,
Wisdom.
Thanks. So at the end of the day, it's you being consistent, regardless of whether it's a fast pace or a fast selling period or whatever. It's you showing up every time. It's you knowing that if I don't close a deal today, if I don't sell the house today, I'll sell one tomorrow. You keep moving no matter what it is. I mean, companies just don't grow by, we didn't do well this year, let's close down, let's quit. Yeah. So if you don't do well today, you do well tomorrow. You just keep pushing yourself and doing better. So it's just the bigger picture, having an idea of where you're going, where you see yourself, or what you see yourself becoming. So I think that's like the key driving force for me anyway.
So talking about challenges,
Right.
You are a woman in this industry, and I know there are a lot of women who are coming in and killing it, but it hasn't always been like that. And then being a woman in a male-dominated industry,
right?
Are there any peculiar challenges? I mean, I don't want to say the name, but has anybody tried to
harassment?
Well, if
I said it.
Yeah, if she said it. Has it happened before?
Well, yes.
Oh.
It has happened before. It has been.
Call the person. Let's
Tough
name
one.
shame. In Women's Month.
Tough one.
How dare you?
Goodness. Well, it was adequately dealt with. I think the biggest challenge for me coming into this industry was me trying to prove that I am more than just a pretty face, a quote, right? It's the me having something upstairs, me not selling houses based on how I look or things I have to offer or whatever, but me selling based on being able to negotiate, the fact that I can deliver, right? Being able to negotiate intelligently, being able to represent intelligently, being able to just have very, very interesting and some difficult conversations for some. I mean, it's a big deal buying a house, right? So I don't know if people just sell houses based on how they look. I'm not sure, because there's a lot of back and forth. I mean, this is like the biggest thing some people buy in their entire lives, right? So it's a whole lot. So I think me having to prove myself to let people know that, I can actually do this. I've had some clients back up because they're like, you're no Ramos. And I'm like, don't worry, I got you.
They were expecting
Morga. Yeah. So they had to start learning to trust me. They had to start learning to be comfortable with me, because I proved to them that, I could handle this, right?
Right.
So that was a big challenge for me.
I mean, you said something about clients.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask a question based off of the previous episode that you had with Ramos, where he said something about, how a client almost cheated him out after he sold 3 units. We're going to leave a link to that video in the pop-out section. So just click on the pop-out banner so you can go back and watch that video. And the question, just Tess, it was Tess who commented, and she said, I really detest clients that try to play smart.
Right.
I would rather you don't contact me than having me do all the work, than try to be sleek when it's time to pay for the services.
Yeah. That part.
I mean, the way you're looking is like...
That part.
It has been done to you.
I don't think there's an agent that it hasn't been done to. I don't think there's an agent that it hasn't been done to. So it does happen sometimes.
Right.
It's frustrating.
Right.
When your client is trying to cut you off your deal. It's like working for free. I mean, exactly. You found the house, you inspected the house, you followed up on the house. A lot of stuff.
People don't understand how challenging it is. They think it's just you go on Instagram and you see somebody. Hey, my name is Glory. This is a fine house. Yeah. They don't really know what goes on behind the scenes.
They do not. And it's a whole lot of work. So feeling cheated out of something you're supposed to get paid for is quite frustrating. So it does happen. Thankfully, not so much. I mean, I can't speak for other agents, but for myself, I haven't had so many clients, try to cut me off. Thankfully, I've had fantastic clients, but yeah, it does happen. It's frustrating when it does happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my next question is technology. Being an agent, the work of an agent has evolved greatly. Back then it used to be a cardboard something.
Right, I saw houses
for rent or for sale. But now, we're using social media.
Right.
We're heavy on Instagram. We're doing... How have you been able to leverage or incorporate new technologies and inventions or innovations in doing your job?
I mean, it's 2022, right? The world has moved on from the archaic means of selling houses.
Yeah.
Right? So now the work comes from me finding the house, me being able to market the house properly. There's so many platforms. There's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's WhatsApp stories as well. There's podcasts. There's TikTok, there's podcasts. Exactly. So there's so many platforms people are using to sell now. And it's just you trying to keep up with the world, really, because you can't be selling houses the way they were selling houses before 10 years ago, right? Times have changed. Things have changed. Now, a person can easily see a house online, and this person, say UK now, and the person wants to buy a house in Nigeria, right? If that house hadn't been put on a platform online, the person wouldn't have seen it. So, things have changed. We're trying to get more people to have access to what we do, the houses we sell. And, this has just been a fantastic means, or all these rather have been a fantastic means for us getting these houses out there. So yeah, we have to move. If something else comes out tomorrow, we're gonna jump on it. Yeah.
That's who we are.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we've addressed a lot of questions and answered a lot of questions that would make sense to an agent watching this or listening to this podcast. But let's also address some concerns of potential homeowners.
Right.
And, people trying to buy a house. Like you said, it's possibly the biggest investment anyone will make in their entire lives.
Right.
What mistakes do you see as an agent? What mistakes do you see potential homeowners making that you just want to educate people on so that when they're buying a house, they don't do those things?
Right. First off, I think if you're trying to buy a house, you need to work with trusted realtors. You need to, work with trusted brands.
You heard
Because
it here on the Ramos Podcast.
yeah, you did. Because you're trying to get a house. It's a big deal for a ton of people.
Exactly.
Right? And you're not trying to buy a house where an issue arises and your agent is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
I mean, your deposit, 30 million is a lot of money.
Ooh.
Right? 60 million is a lot of money.
Ooh.
It keeps going higher and higher and higher. That's a lot of money. Right? Some people just say, okay, you know what? I have this 30 million. Let me just carry and buy. Let my family at least have, an asset or something.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a big deal. So you need to work with people that you trust. You need to work with people that you are certain have your best interest at heart. They would negotiate. Exactly. They would negotiate, get you the best prices. They're not trying to rip you off.
Exactly.
Like the thing you said about agents being just after the money and whatever. Yeah. So it's a lot more than that, right? You know that this person wants to get you a home that you're going to be comfortable in. Mm-hmm. This person wants to get you a home that you're going to look back and say, yeah, I am glad I used those guys to get a house. Like, exactly. Because you're enjoying the service, they rendered. And, so I think the first thing is to use a trusted brand or work with a trusted brand. And then secondly, week off. That's all. Okay. And then secondly, I think you need to listen to your agents.
Right.
Listen to your trusted agents. You don't want your houses falling and stuff. So listen to your trusted agents. If you have a brand that you're working with, and for example, you see a house you like, right? And we say, just make a deposit and keep this house. Say you want to close the house next week, right? We tell you, okay, today's Thursday? We tell you, make a deposit and lock it down till
when you're ready.
Yeah, so the buyer can see that, okay, this is a serious, rather the seller can see that this is a serious buyer. And you're all, no, tomorrow, next week, we're going to close this. Mm-hmm. And then you come next week and the house is sold. Oh. And everybody's just staring like,
yeah.
What now? And it's so hard when the house you wanted has been sold. It's so hard for you to find another one that you would love as much, right? Because I'm pretty sure you would not just go to one house and say, this is the house I want. I mean, you would see a couple of other options, but you chose that one. Enter your eye. Yeah, exactly. So it's you need to listen to your agents a lot. For us now, I would tell you that, okay, this place floods. I'm going to tell you it floods. Why? Because I don't want you calling me.
You really are honest.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
You have to be honest. You have to. Because I don't want somebody calling me and telling me that I don't have access. We are using canoe to enter our house. What I mean, do you understand? So I'm going to lay it all down for you. This is it. If you want it, fine. If you don't want it, let's move.
And find something
there are a
else.
ton of houses in Lagos, right? There are a ton of houses. So if you don't get this one, or if you don't like this one, there's going to be some other house you're going to like. Right. We have a ton of listings. So, what location do you want? What price are you looking to work with? You just lay it all down. And you tell them, okay, they ask you, how is the light in this place? You don't want to say, 24 hours light. When you know that these people barely even have light. You tell them as it is.
2 days off.
2 days off. Half day in, it's quite frustrating. So listen to agents that are honest with you, trusted brands that you can work with. You have to listen to them. You have to ask genuine questions. You have to ask intelligent questions because it's a house. You're not trying to be frustrated with, you took 40 million and bought a house and you're frustrated in the house. That's very sad. That's very sad. So you want to ask the right questions. How is the light here? How is the water here? Is the water clean? There are questions you need to ask. So these are things that I think you need to do before you get a house. Yeah.
All right. Great. So, my final question.
Yeah.
Ramos Realty is synonymous with luxury real estate.
Right, yeah.
You go to the page, you're seeing houses of 250, 300, 700 million.
Yeah.
A lot of people would want to know, are there do you offer any financing or, do a down payment, spread it out sort of with your potential clients?
Right. So it depends on the house.
Right.
Some people would tell you that, we can do a payment plan of 6 months, 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Some would tell you they want outright payment.
Yeah.
Right. Some say 3 months. Okay, make a deposit. We'll balance up, or you balance up in 2 months, 3 months. It just depends on the house, right? You're working with. And I think in terms of financing, mortgages, I think that's still something we're trying to work on because there's no structure
it's
around
really
that
not
in
a
Nigeria.
thing,
It's quite
yeah,
frustrating as well. So that's also something I think our financial institutions need rather to work on. Yeah. But yeah, we do have some houses that you would pay or do payment plans on. We do.
So you've heard it. But we see comments on the page. Oh God, but when can I afford this house?
Now is when you can afford that house.
Because you have the option of doing a down payment on some houses.
On some houses.
Right. I mean, so great conversation, Glory. I've had
agree.
so much fun. And I've learned so much, and I'm sure that anybody who has watched or listened to this podcast has learned a lot as well. You can find us on Spotify at Ramos of Lagos Realty. Yeah. Or you can watch this podcast live on YouTube at Ramos of Lagos Realty. But don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified every time we drop a new podcast. Because we drop podcasts every week. Exactly. Yeah. Before we round up, before I say the final goodbyes, Glory, I'm going to give you 1 minute to sell your market. Okay.
Come and buy a house. We sell all types.
That's all.
Semi-detached, detached houses, terraces, apartments, waterfront. You name it. Please come and buy houses. We'll be waiting to hear from you.
We have everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Glory.
Thank you for having me on
the podcast. And thank you so much for listening and for watching. We will see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Yes, guys.